Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us and thanks for sharing as much of your feedback as you are doing at the moment. SMS line 22422 hashtag Newsnight. Let me read two SMSs here before we put up the tweets. Let me see here what we have. Munji from Nairobi says, to those who are still in Jubilee, what will happen to them after 2022? Because they are not thinking of who will take over if Jubilee goes home with the president like PNU did with Kibaki. While someone is saying no name, but you say the current multi-party political wrestling is, to say the least, democratically healthy. The crescendo is getting to a fever pitch because the incumbent seems to be an interested party, unlike Mwai Kibaki. That's why we are a democracy. And these are some of your tweets as well. Hashtag Newsnight. Let's put the first one up. Easton Equat, you say Kenya is exactly where the US was after John Quincy Adams. USA had also just two regions producing presidents, Virginia and Massachusetts. Americans then decided to elect an outsider, Andrew Jackson from Tennessee. Okay, that's one. Let's see what else Kenyans are saying this evening. Anthony Dominic, you say our politicians should be treated like diapers, checked and changed. I don't like the way this is going. I think our viewers have seen that message there. Let's move on. Papa Kilo Konje, you say Raila wants a running mate from Mount Kenya, Ruto wants a running mate from Mount Kenya, Musalia wants a running mate from Mount Kenya, Gideon wants a running mate from Mount Kenya, Mount Kenya wants a presidential candidate. Okay, Papa Kilo Konje, that's your tweet. Mwalimu Ward Yimbo, you say, Wahiga, there are just a few political parties across Africa that we should emulate. CCM in Tanzania, ANC in South Africa, Frelimo in Mozambique. In Kenya, we have political mortgage markets with periodic elections. Okay, I think we have one or two more. Chester Nyantika, you say Kabando's view is very good, but it's not realistic in present Kenya. There's minimal or no difference at all between an elite and an illiterate person on the polling day once they get to that polling booth. Moses Kuria, I want to hear from you on this one. Before the break, Kabando painted a great picture of what the perfect Kenya would look like in terms of our politics. But some of our viewers feel that that is not the reality today. What are your thoughts on that, Moses Kuria?
Let me say this. Partly I would agree, because Kenyan politics being what it is, you're about to see, a lot of emotionalism as opposed to reason taking, effect. But maybe it's not unique to this country. I've observed elections elsewhere, and things that move the voters are completely different from what you would think. And I've seen that particularly in the American elections in the midterm and in 2016, in 2020. Politics tend to become extremely local in terms of the issues. But in terms of your question about Mount Kenya and running mates and everybody trying to pick somebody from this region, I would say the following. One, 4 points I want to say. It is true that we are meeting, and it's true that in this region, people are trying to come together to think about our issues. But the problem is with your cameras in the media. Somehow, the cameras only zoom in on Mount Kenya when Mount Kenya meets. I know for sure Coast MPs meet all the time to look at their issues. I know for sure Kalenjin MPs, they meet. In fact, Kalenjin MPs meet every week. We never come to know what they discuss. It never comes out in the open. The so-called Luhya unity, it is a talk that has been going on for ages. I know Luo Nyanza MPs meet all the time. I know one of my colleagues in cabinet, he meets Kisii MPs all the time. Somehow, the camera has become defective. But on this one day when Mother Karua, Mwangi Kijule and Moses Kuria meet, the cameras start functioning and they start focusing on Mount Kenya. So actually, I think it's a problem not really about the meetings, but on which day the media cameras are working. Because somehow they only tend to work when Mount Kenya is meeting. So we are all leaders. We are elected from certain regions. We have got obligations to our people. You will recall on the news in New Year's Eve of 2019, I made that statement in Dhika about the neglect and the development of Mount Kenya region. That is what I was elected to do. And if one of my colleagues, if John Badi would have talked about how, Lake Victoria has been neglected, I would not begrudge him. So let people also not criminalize people talking about where they've come from. I can tell you for sure I am very proud because since I talked in Vika, we've seen a lot of infrastructure work starting to happen. We've seen some attempts, to reform the tea sector. Now it's somehow even the prices have started improving. We've seen coffee, there's a coffee bill in Parliament, and, generally there's some hope which is creeping up. Too little, too late, but still something is being done. All about if we were to keep quiet and say, Mount Kenya will not speak because, we come from the backyard of Uhuru Kenyatta, and everybody is rich, and we don't have needs like all other regions. I think that's a problem. Finally, something about this whole issue of running mates. I have no problem with any presidential candidate getting a running mate from Mount Kenya region. We deserve, like all other regions. There's nothing to disenfranchise us from, getting a running mate position. Indeed, even getting a presidential candidate, if people would so decide. What I have a problem with is tokenism. Simply because you've been told that, we need a running mate from Mount Kenya region, so just get any other person simply because they can be able to do praise and worship, they can be able to sing Hosanna. What we need is effective representation. I can tell you, those calculations of running mates, hard-headed people like Kabado and Moses Kuria or Mother Kalwa, they're not in the equation. Because, unfortunately for them, their capability of singing praise and worship is quite limited. So what we need is, yes, we need to be involved, and we have got stakes, and we are a reasonable, vote basket. But what we don't need is tokenism. What we don't need is just getting people because they can be able to jump when they are told, jump high. I've seen even deliberate attempts to destroy strong leaders from some region, and especially Mount Kenya region, simply because you think, this guy, is a Kichwangum, Ukombele, we need someone who, if they are told, we don't need more money coming to our counties, especially to the populous counties, they'll say yes. Or we are told that, it is okay for Ruiru to have 160,000 voters, and for Lamu East to have 12,000 voters, they will say Hosanna. They are told, there is no need of, focusing on coffee because we can also focus on other things, they say hallelujah. That is tokenism. And what we need is to have honest, genuine, deep conversation of things that make you happy and things that are a little bit discomforting. That is when we can have a real conversation in this country.
Kabando, Moses Kuria reckons nobody's going to pick you as their deputy president running mate, so to speak, because of your outspoken nature.
The chances are between low and zero. We're tending towards zero. But I'm not regretful.
Now, Kabando, is that the reading of your current circumstances?
Yes, as I said, we have come from a very far with Moses. We know each other very well, and I do agree with the statement he is giving, that individuals now parading themselves and seeking to quote a region that is rich in a numerical, strength, are simply doing so to seek. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, carry on.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, I simply seek. You can get me?
Proceed.
Hello. Am I being disconnected?
No, we can hear you. Keep going.
Hello. You can hear me. Okay, I can proceed. So the individuals who are doing this, as Kuria says, are only seeking to placate the region or to get the region with them. And I can tell you, let me say three things. That most of the individuals currently going to Mount Kenya and they proclaiming themselves to be friends of Mount Kenya are doing so, in my view, as part of political trickery, not essentially as a way of saying that they love Mount Kenya than any other region. Because anybody seeking to be the president of Kenya should love the whole Kenya, our motherland. So they are saying this as a way of targeting the vote-rich region, and therefore they are seeking to dupe or to use the individuals in that region to think that they love them more. Secondly, in that regard, is that I can say without any doubt or fear of contradiction that most of these individuals are being appropriated by the mafia that have appropriated the past politics. And by mafia, I mean cartels. I mean the underworld. I mean the individuals who think because they have misappropriated the regime of Kenyatta, the regime of Moi, the regime of Kibaki, and they are now lording it over in the regime of Uhuru, purporting to represent the community, but they represent the individual private interest. And the individuals meeting, these are the guys who are meeting, the networks, in the dark rooms, who are meeting certain candidates beforehand, giving them money, giving them facilitation, and preparing events for them. And then they come and say, we are speaking for the region. They are not speaking for the region. They are speaking for the financial cartels that has misappropriated the insurance sector, that have misappropriated the coffee sector, individuals who have misappropriated the businesses that should have competitively been bid by entrepreneurs and the fair and just allocation of contracts awarded. They are seeking to represent a certain region for their small cabals of business interests. And I'm not saying business is bad, but we must change the way things are done.
And you're warning voters to be careful next year.
I'm warning voters to be careful. The other thing that I would like to say in regard to what is happening now, both within Jubilee and the other parties, is that these negotiations that are happening between a sitting or incumbent president and the opposition is not a very good sign of a competitive democracy. It is a sign of networks that want to misappropriate the state instrument, succeed themselves, protect their interest, and suffocate any other interest. And I can tell Korea, when I mentioned earlier about orchestrations like happened in 1988, remember in 1983, politics in this country were done, elections were done in 1983 because they wanted to punish Charles Jonjo. In 1988, it was the Kibaki factor, and we saw Mlolongo, the longest line becoming the shortest, and the shortest or a line without anybody being declared winners. 2017, we did not only miss Jubilee nominations, and we cannot live there, we have to move forward, but we also rigged the national elections. Vifaranga via computer is a real phenomenon, is a reality, and this is what we must prevent from happening.
I hope you're not saying that Moses Kuria is one of those.
No, no, no. But he is aware and he is conscious to know that things did not go as they were to. And I say this because we need to learn from the Krieger report after the post-election violence of 007 to prepare elections in a very procedural manner, abide by the election laws, the constitution, in order to prevent bad things from happening. From the scenarios happening last week and the scenario of yesterday, the signs are that people are desperate. They are panicking. And what we need now, between now and the Tuesday, 9th of August, 2022, is not just chasing ourselves around and carrying rungus, chasing other people. If, for instance, the Jubilee Party knew that since 2013 to 2017, Uhuru was a captive of the deputy president, those things would have been corrected. If, for instance, they knew that there's misappropriation, and of course there were misappropriations, all I'm saying is that we are in so much mess, and it is getting messier, and the only way out for us is to refocus the national agenda and deal with the issues that are affecting the common person.
Kabando.
And therefore, even some of us who are not within UDA or the Hustler movement that my friend Kuria is in, and you know, it's justified so, we do support the fact that the leading candidates for now, Raila Odinga, and the sitting deputy president are talking about the border people. They are talking about the National Hospital Insurance Fund. They are talking about the trading in the smallest of the towns and in the hamlets of the Republic of Kenya. I do agree that we need to refocus our politics from the politics of the big wigs from Mount Kenya community, the big wigs from Luo Nyanza, the biggest farmers of maize in Kalenjin land, coming together and then saying they are speaking for their communities. The fact and the reality is that this country is shifting, and the people must shift with the shift of the popular mass focus. There is so much suffering, Wahiga, and we are not here to emphasize the suffering of the people in a negative way.
Yes, yes,
but if
Kabando.
you go to every village,
But briefly, please. Yes.
If you go to every village, as I said in the beginning, in terms of school fees, in terms of hospital bills, in terms of debts, mortuaries are full, hospitals are full, people have been dislocated. Therefore, even in the unity of purpose that we are talking about, even in Mount Kenya, should be focused on dealing with the pertinent current issues of economic suffocation, the displacement, the police killings,
thank you, Kabando,
and the denial of educational and health rights that are enshrined as basic human rights in the Constitution, because we have failed as a Jubilee government, because Jubilee government has lost way and has gone astray.
Okay, thank you.
And the so-called Big Four is a big shame.
Thank you, Kabando. In the interest of time, and this is a fascinating conversation we're having, we're going to have to wrap it up. But some final comments from both of you. Moses Kuria, just hearing what Kabando has to say, one would say that this is where a strong parliament would rise up to really help, ordinary Kenyans navigate through this period. But in 2019, you stood at a press conference to apologize to Kenyans for the rising debt level, stating that Parliament has been asleep. Moses Kuria, what was that about?
Since 2014 until last year, when I was unceremoniously kicked out, I was a member of the budget committee. So I was privy to a lot of things about what was happening in this country from 2014. And I know that as a member of parliament, Kenyans would have expected me to play that role in providing an oversight that would have prevented those things from happening. And that is another big problem with the way our patronage politics works, because what used to happen is that every year before we pass the budget, we'll be called to State House, and I'm talking about both members of Jubilee and NASA, led by ODM Chair John Buddy. And we'll be given goodies for our constituencies, and we'll be told shut up and go and pass everything the way it is. Until, some 2-3 years back, when I said, I think my conscience was not at peace. And I thought it was important to let Kenyans know that if you're expecting Parliament, the Budget Committee, Kalini Kega, Gladys Wanga, to be the checkmate for the executive, that is not going to happen because of the way our politics wire.
What proof, beyond your testimony, what proof would Kenyans have? Because the last time you made those comments, a lot of your colleagues said that you are lying. Where have you been
my
all this
friend,
time?
Now ask them today. Today, I think they are healed. Most of them are also healed. In fact, those who are saying I was lying that time, today they agree with me vociferously, and they know that we've not been provided. Can I tell you, in a budget of somewhere in the region of 3 trillion, we only change Parliament thinkers with only maximum 2 billion. The rest we assume that all wisdom belongs to Treasury building, and that everything coming from Treasury is sacrosanct and need not be checked. But because of time, Wahiga, I won't say 3 things.
Yes, and this will be your parting shot. This will be your parting shot. Go ahead.
I have a problem with the current government, or even with the president, on 3 counts. One, during the first term, because he really wanted to be re-elected, and we should be honest about that, he allowed so many bad things to happen, but he would not say anything because which he knew were going wrong. But he badly wanted the election. He wanted to be supported. That is where our debts, hit the ceiling. That's when we had, funny projects, happening. It's not that the president woke up one day and said, "Oh my God, I realized things were going wrong." He knew from the beginning.
And I hope, as you speak, that even you, as a member of parliament, take partial responsibility for that. A Jubilee member of parliament, to be specific.
3 years now, I've taken responsibility, Wahiga. I'm expecting others to say mea culpa like I've said 3 years ago. The second crime is that now we fast forward to the second term. And now the president now wastes another whole term fighting his deputy, making his deputy being an issue. And, you know, I think they have come from far. And I think deep inside Uhuru Kenyatta's heart, he wanted William Ruto to be president all along. That's why he fought him so that he can be able to send sympathy his way. But, you know, that is their business. My problem is preoccupation with fighting one man. For a whole 5 years, we have lost a lot of opportunities. The opportunity cost is so huge.
Okay,
that,
Moses Kuria, I told you briefly your final point.
And finally, my final point, and which is that crime, is that now, when we will think that he has learned a lesson from the first time of allowing bad things to happen, which should not have happened, when we thought he has learned that, you know, making one man to be the subject of the whole country for 5 years is an exercise in futility. Now, when you would think now he has learned that and he's focusing on ensuring that you have a peaceful transition, that we have got an IBC. By the way, the party I'm affiliated to, Chama Chakazi, has related to Wafula Chebukati, asking for weekly meetings to audit the preparedness towards next year.
Okay.
Because we were waiting for this to see that the president is concerned that it's going to be a free and fair election, that, you know, Matiang'i can be trusted to midwife, you know, a security apparatus that's going to deliver a free and fair election.
Moses,
He's still committed. If you are in a hole, stop digging, Mr. President. Focus on ensuring that you have a peaceful transition. That is what future generations will judge you with.
Thank you, Moses Kuria. And Kabando, I have about a minute. We've gone far beyond our time. What's your last word on this?
I want to say,
and I must say, some viewers are saying they hope to see you in Parliament after next year. I don't know if that's still your ambition. Maybe tie that into your parting shot.
Before I come, Wahiga, I'll take less than a minute or a minute and a half. 5 things need to be implemented without explaining them, just mentioning. Number 1, Jubilee Party should publish audited account to show how they have used the millions of subscriptions paid by members, including members of parliament and governors, since 2013. Number 2, Jubilee Party should publish the project were implemented through the hundreds of billions that were obtained through Eurobond. We should, as a way of moving forward, publish and implement the Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Commission report, TJRC. We should implement the Dongo report on land in Kenya. And we should implement the Crow report that was commissioned to be done in the early years of the Kibaki administration through Kroll Associates of United Kingdom that showed the looting of Kenya under Daniel Arap Moi. Uhuru, 336 days to go. Like Kuri has said, ensure a peaceful transition because you must finish and go, and Kenya must go on to prosperity and peace. Mariza, uende.
Your final word. Kenyans, some have asked, are you going to be in parliament? Which party? Okay, well, you don't know, but is that your ambition?
Wahiga, because I'm inherently a political animal and I don't apologize for being a pure politician, come Tuesday, 9th of August 2022, I'll be on the ballot for one of the seats in Nyeri, either as a member of parliament for Mukurweini again or a member of the Nyeri county senator. But the first offer appears to be more preferable to me because there's a job that we did not finish in Mukurweini, and I think the choice that was made by Jubilee Party was not on popular mandate and did not deserve, and therefore must be replaced.
Wahiga, irrespective of which position Kabando wants to go, Chama Chakazi is waiting for him and we will endorse him, just like the deputy president endorsed other candidates.
Thank you, gentlemen. We are going
Wahiga, can we say thank you very much? Wahiga, we should say thank you very much to Royal Media Services, specifically Newsnight of Citizen TV, for hosting us with Moses Kuria tonight. We wish you well, the management and all the personnel and the owners of the Royal Media Services. Asanteni sana, neema za Mungu ambariki na mnawiri na mboreshe biashara. Asanteni sana.
I think Kabando has wrapped up this show. Let's get out of here. Moses Kuria live from Santa Barbara, California. Thank you for your time this evening. Kabando in Nairobi with a message to the management of this organization. Thank you to both of you gentlemen for your time and your thoughts as well. And thank you to our viewers. Without you, this would not have been possible. Thank you for having stayed tuned to Newsnight. On behalf of the whole and a big team that makes this show possible, and our sign language interpreter this evening, Joki Shege, asante sana. Have a good night. Stay safe. And as we always say, God watch over this country. That has been the state of politics. Have a good night. My name is Wahiga Mwaula.